right, Robert. So, this is a new one for you. We've got bed floor. We've got less than 10 inches of bed gap.
It's an acceptable amount.
We've got a leaky roof. And LS power, no diesel.
6-liter life, 4L80, 4-wheel drive.
So why don't you tell the people, what's the chassis out of? Because this is not a square body chassis.
This is a 1999 GMC 2500 chassis. Not the HD, nothing fancy, just a 6-liter LS, a 4L80, some transfer case, and it's a 4-wheel drive.
Alright. And then the body is just straight square body. All the way back. Mostly Mondo, but there's still some GMO.
I think that's foam.
That's foam?
That's
great
foam.
Stuff. Great stuff. Has a big stake in this cab.
Sponsor us.
And no lift, nothing. This is just square body sitting on 2500 chassis.
Actually, for the record, I think the keys are turned up in it, but it's factory front suspension.
Yeah.
The keys
going
might just
from
be
like
adjusted.
a normal square body to this, I mean, this is 6 inches of lift, easy.
Easy.
But she's going to
Square
ride
body.
like stock. She's going to be powered like stock until we end up tearing into the motor. And she's going to have air conditioning and all the amenities. Like,
We've still got a lot to do. This is only, day 3 of it. We started on Friday. We got the cab off of one truck. Saturday, we got the cab off the other truck. And then today, we've been working on merging everything together. We obviously still have wiring, brakes, steering, but the body's sitting on top of it, and it's on hostile, so it looks cool.
Look, it's Robert's favorite foods.
Yeah.
Crayons,
we wouldn't have made
glue
it
sticks,
if it weren't for crayons.
pencils, and rulers.
Lots of crayons were consumed in the making of this production.
I imagine so.
Alright, so let me explain what's going on here. This project came about when Robert bought a wrecked 99 Silverado 2500, and of course the solution as to what to do with it was to body swap it. Swapping an old truck body onto a GMT 800 platform is an easy way to build a badass truck for not a lot of money. I think by the time the video ended, had maybe $2,000 in the whole project. So it's not a hard swap to do, really, and it's not a lot of cash. So what does it take to swap a square body onto a Silverado chassis? We started by stripping the donor truck of all the usable wiring, doing our best to keep everything like the brakes, steering, and drivetrain in one piece. We had to shorten the frame. The square body found was a long bed, so we measured the wheelbase, figured out it was about 10 inches different from the Silverado chassis, and we found a spot to cut that 10 inches out of. Luckily on the Silverado chassis there's a nice straight section right in front of the gas tank, and we were able just to take that 10 inches out of there. After cutting the frame, we welded it back together and then reinforced that joint by welding a large plate on the outside of the frame. Then it was just a matter of centering the body on the chassis. We mounted the bed first and got it all squared up, and then we were able to set the bed gap after that, making sure the wheels were centered in the wheel wells, stuff like that. Once we got the body kind of sat down and placed where we wanted it, we just built some body mounts. Not a big deal. We were actually able to use the body mounts we cut off of the frame when we were prepping it to go up under the square body, and just use those for material to make the new ones out of. Same with the rubber pieces in them. We had to trim them, things like that, but they actually ended up working out pretty well. What you're not going to see in this video is the plumbing and the wiring, what we had to do to get it all plugged back together. Luckily, because we saved all the stock wiring, it's just a matter of plugging it back into the drivetrain and hooking up a switch 12 volts to power on the ECU, and then another switch 12 volts to key on the starter. After that, the factory ECU will take over. All the wiring to the fuel pumps is still on the chassis, and that's part of the important part. When you're pulling these things apart, don't just go hacking everything up, because you can reuse a lot of that, and if you hack it up, you're going to have to end up spending money. So the plumbing for the fuel tank and the brakes is a similar situation. The fuel tank, all we had to do is just shorten the hoses because we cut that 10 inches out of the frame. The brakes is a little more involved. You have to shorten the brake line, but you really don't want to, just cut it and then put a union there. So that brake line that runs from the ABS module to the rear is a new brake line. once again, not a huge deal, not a lot of money, not hard to do. So we are going to do an update once the truck is on the road. That way we have a little bit of time to kind of get it sorted out, get any kind of bugs worked out, and we'll do a little more in-depth on, this is what it looks like, and this is kind of the direction you can go in. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you keep up with some of our other projects as we try to upload more and more videos. Also, if you would like to see more of Robert's projects, he has a really cool 67 C10 swapped onto a Duramax chassis. The thing does hectic burnouts. You can go over to his YouTube channel. He has a couple videos up, and I'll link his channel in the description. Anyway, enjoy the video.
If you want to see this, you got to pay for the OnlyFans.
Yep, or meet us at a show.
Yeah, that's probably the better option.
And they pay us for our OnlyFans.
We're going to bring a curtain with us if you want to see it. If you try to sneak around, we're going to pepper spray you.
Oh, I thought we were putting landmines out.
Well, it's kind of an open fairground, man. It's a lot of landmines.
They'll be there for next year.
We just gotta remember where they're at.
All right, there it is.